Happy Monday, everybody. It is Monday. You made it through the weekend. Now it is time to work, but hopefully you take a little bit of break from your work to watch this interview. We are talking to Sharon from Within Temptation today. This is a big one for us and really excited that she agreed to do this. There's a lot of things I want to ask her. I'm sure you guys probably have some questions for her too. If you do, you can drop them down there. See, down there? Down there, down right there. You can leave some questions for her. We will get to them if we can. If we don't get to them, maybe ask a couple of times. It's not annoying. It's totally cool. So once we actually have her, we will jump in. And again, please don't don't request to be in the interview because that's confusing. So don't do that. But you can ask questions. We'll definitely get to them if we can. How's everyone doing today? How was everyone's weekend? What did you guys do over the weekend? Everyone do some fun stuff? Okay, look, they're here. She's here. Yay. Let me chat with her right now.
Hi,
Hey, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Very nice to meet you, and thank you so much for doing this. This is awesome.
No problem, no problem. Welcome. I'm really happy to be here. So,
Cool. So, actually, this is cool because you haven't played. I actually Googled it and I looked in our system. You actually haven't played Irving Plaza since 2007.
yeah, it's a long time, huh?
It's real
Way
long, yeah.
overdue.
I know. Well, in all fairness, it's you guys are too big for Irving Plaza, so that's why. It's,
Well, I
Yeah,
like.
no, it's okay. It's fine. That's why it's so cool that you're here doing this because every other time like we wanted to bring you had to play the bigger places in New York City, which is awesome. So the fact that you're coming and talk to us now is super cool, and we're really appreciative of it.
Well, you're most welcome, and I'm really happy to be talking to you now. So it's nice to get an update from both of us. I think probably.
Yeah, I
How
can give you a
is it?
report. Oh, sorry.
How is it for you guys now in New York?
It's better. It's better. It was rough. It was a really rough couple of months. I'm sure a lot of people watching this are from New York and can tell you that it was scary for a while.
Yeah,
A lot of uncertainty, and unfortunately, in our profession as a promoter and somebody who works in concerts, there's still a lot of uncertainty. We're not sure when we go back to work or when the doors for the venues open up, and it's a tough time. But I think everyone's making do, trying to figure out other things such as this.
yeah,
Like we started doing these interviews, so our fans can actually, fans of the venue can talk to the bands that play the venue
yeah.
and stuff like that. And this has provided a really cool opportunity. And I think that I can ask you the same thing. I think, like, did you notice during the quarantine, it has provided opportunity to do some other stuff?
One of the things that I really enjoyed was making playlists actually for other people, not just myself. It's maybe strange, of course. I made playlists on the streaming platforms before, but with less enthusiasm than now actually, because now I was like, okay, I want to do this workout, and now I can make this maybe also something for people who are at home and just want to have a really cool list of songs that I like very much. Hopefully they
Love
will
that.
like it as well. And I discovered a lot of new music because of it, and also inspiration sources. So I was really happy to discover this for myself, because normally I was really the traditional kind of person, still listen to records.
That's
I still
amazing.
enjoy it still very much, vinyl, and I have a reasonable collection nowadays. And but having said that, and I was of course I had the streaming platforms and everything, but now I was really like making playlists, and I felt like, okay, I'm doing myself a favor, but maybe also someone else who is enjoying our music, and also some other new music they haven't heard before. So it was like still being in contact with music and getting inspired by it, and also exploring a lot.
That's great. It's funny you bring that up because one of the questions that I've been asking everybody in these interviews are about playlists because I find playlists to be fascinating. It's like it's a look inside someone's soul. Like you can really see what a musician likes. I remember when I was a kid, the way that I would find out about
Yeah,
new bands was I
yeah,
would look at the thank you list of a
yeah,
band CD to see who they thanked. And then
yeah.
I'd be like, oh wow, they like them. I should check it out. So that's what I was doing when I was a kid. So here's what I ask everybody, and I'll ask you if Spotify existed when you were a teenager and you can make a playlist, what would your playlist look like as a teenager?
Well, I must say, the playlist that I made is really very close to what I like personally. and I think my taste hasn't changed that much. I like songs that are have good melodies. I love melodies. I'm an 80s girl, so you know, that's what I was brought up with. And heavy guitars. I like heaviness in the song, and I like a certain kind of I like intense emotion. So that always grabs me to at the throat. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
it takes my breath away, and that's what that's what a song needs to do for me most of the time. And most of the songs I've chosen are actually like that on this list. The playlist is called the Corona Quarantine Sweat It Out Workout. At the time, I found it a very original kind of name for my set, for my playlist. But you know, there's so many Corona quarantine kind of lists now out there that it's like confusing for a lot of people to find it even. But if you go to our band, of course, on the streaming platforms, you can find it underneath there. And
that's awesome.
So what I like also about it, it's all high intensity songs, and that's what I like. So I think it's I'm trying to remember the band because I'm so bad at names, but the song is called Go to War, and it's from a band. I'm gonna look it up.
Okay, you can totally go ahead.
And I'm not sure if I can look it up while I'm doing this, but
let's see if I can do it.
Yeah. Can you go to my playlist, please?
Yeah. I'm actually gonna look up. I'm on Spotify, so
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm addicted. It's just, is it Nothing More?
Yeah, Nothing More.
I love that band. Yeah.
There's everything. Why that hasn't been like a worldwide, huge, humongous hit? You know, I can't understand, because that just, you know, ticks every box, meaning like it has emotion, it's intense, it has an extremely good chorus, an extremely good verse, it has everything, and it's so intense. I love it to death. It's one of my favorite songs.
That's have you seen them live yet? They're an amazing live band.
I didn't even know them, to be
honest. Wow.
Yeah, so I was really like, wow. So I'm really happy that like I said, I'm learning getting to know a lot of new, especially UK bands and bands from America that I didn't know yet. So it's I'm really happy that I've discovered that.
That's awesome, because I do notice, and I've talked to a lot of musicians about this, and they say that it's harder to find new music when you're a touring musician, because you know, a lot of times you're focusing on your own music, or you're just actually, you know, seeing bands at festivals. You don't really have the time to research like you do in a 5-month quarantine to look up bands on Spotify.
No, yeah, exactly. 1 second, because I hope my telephone is not getting overheated. Oh my God. Yeah, I have that sometimes. I'm sorry.
Me too. No, I have the same thing here. I mean, it's
really
always hot here. Yeah,
but do you also, because it could be that it just drops out and then says you're overheated, and then I have to get an ice pack to cool it down, otherwise it doesn't work. And then I have to get into contact with you again, but it could happen because it happened to me already like several times. I'm so ready for a new telephone.
Anything can happen in these Instagram interviews. Everything can go wrong, and it happens all the time.
Exactly,
so we're equipped. We're ready. Don't worry about it.
Okay,
Grab some ice. We'll be here.
If you see me drop out, then it's probably because of that. There's no other reason. I'm really enjoying this. So we'll save your space. I promise. But what was your last question? Because I got.
Oh, so I said that's okay. So I said, you know, a lot of times as a touring musician, you don't get a chance to discover new bands besides the bands that you're on tour with, or play festivals with, and then you know, not often we have the 5-month quarantine that we can actually look up stuff on Spotify.
No, totally, and I must say that normally I don't want to explore that much, because I still want to be like not too much inspired by too many things. But you know, it's like, I think maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you need to be inspired, and you know, it doesn't mean that you're going to write the same kind of thing, but you will get inspired by the emotion, and it will get you to write new stuff again, because you do get inspired by a lot of talent out there. So it's
well, I think I can speak on behalf of a lot of people that are a fan of your band, that it's impossible to put Within Temptation in a box, because you're not one kind of music. And, you know, that's why I was like actually excited to ask the question about your influences when you were younger, because you can hear a billion influences when you listen to your band. You know, there's not like, I can't compare a band to Within Temptation and say like this band sounds like Within Temptation. Like it's not fair to put it in a category. Is that a fair thing to say? Do you agree with that? Froze. She froze. 1 sec. Maybe she dropped out. We will see. I think she's frozen. I don't know if that means her phone overheated. You guys seeing her? Okay. Unfortunately, her phone overheated as predicted. So hopefully she comes back. Let's just hang out for a sec. Again, I'll say this. Do not ask to be requested into this video. We will block you. I'm not trying to be rude, but we're trying to talk to Sharon. We don't want to talk to you. You can ask your questions down there. So please don't ask to request unless you're Sharon. Thank you. I know she's gone. She said her phone might overheat. Her phone overheated. She's getting an ice pack. Actually, my phone overheats all the time. I've never got an ice pack, so we could just BS in the meantime until she comes back. So as soon as she comes back, we will grab her. We will talk to her. Yes, we miss Irving Plaza too. Thank you so much for checking us out. The renovations, as you guys know, for Irving Plaza have been happening. They are done. We will open up as soon as we can. Nothing More was the band that she mentioned. Go to War was the name of the song. They're a great band. They've actually played Irving Plaza a couple of times. Okay, so she's asking to come back in. Great. Here we
I'm
go.
sorry.
That's okay.
What,
Did you get an ice pack?
what just happened?
Did you get an ice pack? Was it your phone? Did it overheat?
It was my phone, but not an ice pack. I got myself some frozen fruits in a package and some ice cream.
It works just as well. Kill two birds with one stone. If you're in the freezer, get the ice cream.
Yeah. So I was thinking, I'll immediately get some ice cream for myself. I'm sorry I can't share it with you.
I've had so much ice cream. Honestly, I actually had surgery 2 weeks ago, and I feel like after you get surgery, ice cream is just a universal food. So everyone just kept on sending me. I'm like, please, and the quarantine. So like, just all the ice cream in the world. I'm good on ice cream, but thank you for the offer.
You've seen enough of it, and had enough of it.
Can you believe too much ice cream? But I've had too much. So yeah.
Okay. I remember your last question, which was my influences.
Yeah.
When I was a kid. Yeah. Well, the thing is, we're a band of 6 people, and everybody was brought up with certain influences. So like, our bass player was a really Yes fan, and Robert, my partner, he was and still is very much a Marillion fan.
Wow, that's
and
cool.
then we have Ruud, and Stefan, who are both very much Iron Maiden fans. And I grew up loving so many different kind of stuff. And Martijn, our keyboard player, he is more of the Clannad and Enya and film music.
Wow.
And that's what I love too. Dead Can Dance, Enya, and so that's how we started out actually. And I was always a grunge girl. I loved Nirvana, and I loved Tori Amos, and I loved even something totally different, Dolly Parton. And because it's not like I cling to a certain kind of artist. It's more like I love songs of persons, because songs get me. It's not the artist behind it most of the time. But I must say, if there was ever one artist or band that's really was my favorite band, that was Nirvana. I was really a grunge girl. Yeah, I loved it.
It was,
to death.
I mean, they were groundbreaking, there's very few bands. Yeah. And, because especially in the States, metal, like glam metal and stuff was the only thing on the radio at the time. Then when Nirvana came, it changed the game, and like,
yeah, totally.
It changed the game. And what's amazing about Nirvana is that when you listen to them, they are so eclectic. They're not they're not one kind of band. No, exactly. Yeah, it's amazing.
There's no band who ever sounded or was the same. Of course, you had several bands, grunge bands, but they were very different from each other. Alice in Chains was different. Pearl Jam was different, and I love them all. But Nirvana was my number one.
It touches you. There's something about it that, there's a lot. I like to have the conversation about gateway drugs, about bands that you listen to that get you into other music, and bands that change your life. And I feel like Nirvana. I'm 44, so people of my age frame, everybody that I know like that likes Nirvana, that was the band for them that got them into everything they
Yeah.
listen to now.
Yeah. Yeah, this for me, same thing. They got me to heavier music, although my parents already listened to Black Sabbath and Wars of the World of Jeff Vane.
Oh,
Jeff
you had
Vane.
cool parents. You were
Yeah,
really
I had
smart.
cool
That's
parents.
really
Yeah,
cool
and
parents.
yeah. And they were really music lovers, but they also listened to Chris Rea, to all kinds of stuff. You know, they were very open-minded to all kinds of music, and so I grew up with a lot of good music around me, and there was always music in our house. They didn't play music, but they were always playing music at home. So when my father got home, the records, the vinyl records got out of the closet, and everything was starting to play. And on days off, there was the whole day music.
That's
music
amazing.
on.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I would imagine too, is that how you realize you can sing? Because that's a moment, like when you're like, wow, I can do this. I can actually sing.
Well, I was always singing from a very early age. It started when I was 4 years old, and I listened to the radio a lot. And I was living in Indonesia. For my parents were expats.
Oh wow!
And yeah,
that's really cool.
And I lived there for 4 years, almost, maybe 5. And the thing was that I listened a lot to the radio, and my mom had the tradition when she was still working. She bought herself a record every weekend for herself to treat herself, and the rest she saved up for something for the future. And the thing was that she passed it on to me, because when I was 4, and I saw my brother was getting pocket money. I said, like, okay, he's getting pocket money, but he is 6 years older, and I would like to have it too. So I was pretty wise, but of course, if you have a 6-year older brother, you get a little bit more wise than your same age kids are. And so my mom said, okay, that's good, that you can get pocket money, but you can only spend it on music. I said, okay, that's fine, So every weekend we went to the record store, and I was allowed to buy what I wanted to, and because it was not very expensive, because in Indonesia, which I didn't know at that time, everything got copied, of course.
Sure, yeah, it's bootlegs.
It was no original. Even if you wanted to, you couldn't see the original from the fake one.
Sure.
And we were going to an official record store, and I came back with 4 or 5 cassettes every weekend.
That's amazing.
So I had a huge collection, and I started with Boney M. And with Moody Blues, I remember.
Wait, Rasputin is one of my Rasputin is one of the best songs ever by Boney M.
Really?
Oh, that's
yeah.
That song's that's one of the songs I play for people when I'm like, I bet you've never heard this, because that song was huge in Europe but never got that big here. So
okay.
Yeah, and I know the band Teresa's actually covers that song. That's actually the first time I heard that song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard Teresa's cover that song. And I was like, how have I never heard this? And for some reason, it was a big European hit, never that big here. But that song is brilliant. I still listen to that song, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, they have several brilliant songs. Rivers at Babylon, I still, when I hear it, I get, 4 years old again.
Right, yeah, but that's what music does. Yeah, it takes you back, yeah.
Yeah, it takes you back, have good memories of it. And and from that, it just started me getting interested in music and starting to sing along with things. And of course, my parents didn't take it very seriously. But when I grew older, I started to discover a movie. Also, when I was 4 years old, Grease, actually. And I fell in love with Olivia Newton-John's voice.
That's awesome.
And that got me into her music, and also country music in a way. But I was especially focused on her voice, because it was an angel singing, to my opinion. And so I sang her songs for myself for years and years in front of the mirror. And then when I got older, like boys, they have like Steve Vai to practice too with guitars and stuff. And my parents said, okay, you can go to music school if you want to, but I never wanted to, because I had to start with the flute, and I just wanted to learn to sing, and I want just to know if am I a good singer or not. And eventually I thought, I'm not going to go to music school just to learn the flute, to play the flute. I just want to sing, And eventually there was this course you could take, and it was called How to Be in a Band.
Really?
It was amazing. Yeah.
Wow.
It was very, very, something that you hear about nowadays. But at that time, there was
it didn't exist. Yeah.
traditional way of getting a music lesson.
Sure.
So My ice cream is starting to drip. 1 second.
Yeah, have some. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, no.
What flavor is that? Is that what kind of ice cream is that?
I've got vanilla with chocolate.
Classic. You can get better than the classics.
I'm gonna drop it here because otherwise I'm gonna mess everything up.
Wait, I have a question real quick though. Were you one of those kids?
Yeah.
Were you one of those kids that watched Grease every day? Because I feel like I know so many people that literally watched Grease every day, and their parents are like, "All right, we've seen Grease 100 times. We have to move on."
I watched it a lot. I can't even remember how many times.
Yeah.
Not every day though. But I know every song word for word. I can sing any song from it. Which
What about
is my
Grease? Grease 2? Did you like Grease 2?
I like that very much too. With
Michelle Pfeiffer? Yeah.
Yeah. I think she's an amazing actress. But I didn't like it as much as the first one. The first one had some kind of magic with John Travolta, of course.
Yeah.
And Olivia. But it was the first time. Every time you see something for the first time, it's maybe you can't beat the first time somehow.
I agree with that. Yeah. I agree with that. That's true. Well, that's super cool. Like, yeah, I think, and I love asking those questions to bands because the answer is always surprising, right? And I think what's super cool now is that your fans watching this will watch Grease tonight.
Well, they try and think, why did she like this?
But there's something about it. A couple of years ago, I don't know if they did the same thing in Europe, but they re-released Grease in the movie theaters here. And
yeah, I heard about it. And they did sing-alongs, eh?
It was I actually went. It was super cool. Like,
no!
people dressed up. They were like in the aisles dancing. They were singing.
I would do that because, completely.
But how cool is that? Like, that's an experience. Like, I think there's certain things, whether it's a live performance, like there's certain, Rocky Horror Picture Show. There's certain movies or certain bands or whatever that it's more of an experience than a singular thing. And you froze again. Oh, no. Okay, hopefully this isn't a real freeze again. This is just a temporary freeze. Maybe she got some ice cream on her phone. Oh, no. Oh, boy. Wow. More technical difficulties. Well, again, please do not request to be in this interview if you're not Sharon. Please, for the love of God. Hopefully, this is just a temporary freeze. Maybe she got some ice cream on her phone. Hey, Ryan and Zach, can you guys just ban the people that keep on asking to the request to be in this? Because it's honestly harder for me to get her back because there's a lot of people that are trying to go live. So just like politely ban them. Thank you guys. Yeah, it is so hot here. I know we keep on losing her. It's so sad. I'm sorry. Grease though, how cool is that? That's awesome. Yeah, it's got to be the heat. And also, I mean, this happens on Facebook Live. I'm sorry, Instagram Live. I forgot where we were. This happens often that there's these technical difficulties. So hopefully we can get her back and we will roll. Yeah, please stop requesting. Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate it. Okay. Hopefully we can get her back. Her phone froze and she dropped out. We're doing the best to get her back. Oh, stop requesting. Ryan, please ban these people. Oh boy. Hey, it's a tortoise. He's okay. He's hanging out. I actually got a snake this weekend. I don't necessarily have a name for the snake. While we're waiting for Sharon, if you guys want to actually give me some snake names, as long as they're original and you don't say like Jake or something, I'll consider all names. So some snake names. That'd be great. Yes, that is Kermit the Frog. I have a pretty significant Muppet collection. You want to see the snake? Yeah, let me see. The snake is sleeping. This is my Muppet collection. Show us the snake. The snake is, let me see. Give me 1 second. See if you can see him. You see it? That is the snake. It is a lemon blast morph, ball python. There's thousands of ball python morphs. Okay, enough of my messy apartment. Hopefully, Sharon comes back so we can get to the matter at hand. We can chat with her some more. The conversation's great. She's the coolest. So cool. Barney. Barney's not a name. Boots is good. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I haven't yet to take him out of the cage. I just want to let him get him used to his environment. Otherwise, I would take him out. Yes, I'm a big fan of the noodles. Danger Noodle, very cool Danger Noodle. She is the coolest, right? Wow, and I find what's so cool about her is that since, like I was saying before, Within Temptation certainly does not sound like any band, and just hearing all her different influences is always so interesting. If while we're waiting for her, I saw there's a lot of people mentioning the first few bands that they liked when they were kids. Shout out the band that changed everything. I saw some Green Day, I saw some Evanescence, I saw some Within Temptation. What's the band that changed everything for you? That made you realize you love music? Because there's that band for everybody. So let me know who yours is, or you can chat. Let me know while we wait for Sharon. Within Temptation, definitely. Yes, I get it. I totally get it. I totally get why they're such an important. Alanis, that's a great one. Jagged Little Pill. The Jagged Little Pill was actually recorded live in one take. Pretty interesting. Very few people do that. Tarzan Nightwish, Within Temptation, great ones, of course. The Cranberries, R.I.P. Amazing band. Oh, that's great. This is so sweet. You guys are such fans. I hope she gets to come back. Epic is a great one. We've had them a few times at Irving Plaza. I love them. Their voice is amazing. When they do the Star Wars thing, it's so fucking cool. Yes. Oh, we have Tarzan. Wait, do we confirm Tarzan next week? Ryan, why don't you please drop the information about Tarzan next week so we can let everybody know when they can see my interview with Tarzan. That's awesome. Cool. That's really great. Evanescence. A lot of Evanescence love. That's super cool. I get that. Yeah, I also do like a lot of metal and female-fronted metal. If you guys haven't heard Cellar Darling, which is Anna from Eluvati, they're fucking amazing. You should check them out. They're one of my favorite bands. Obviously, Arch Enemies, fucking cool as hell. Obviously, Epic I think is super cool. Amaranth is cool. Yeah, just tons of great bands out there. Fucking Lacuna Coil. We anybody watching here went to the 2 Lacuna Coil shows that we had last year at Gramercy Theater. The shows were amazing. They are such a fucking great live band. Yes, I love Eluvati. They're one of my favorite bands. But yeah, check out Anna Murphy's new band, Cellar Darling, which isn't new. It's like 2 years old, but yeah, it's fucking so good. Yeah, guys, please, I don't want to give the speech again about requesting, but don't request. Yeah, let's talk about this real quick. Since we're in New York and we don't know when this virus or when the bans of the virus are going to end, it's hard because I don't know when a lot of these bands we'll see again. Hopefully, we can see them soon. A lot of the bands that you guys are mentioning are bands that we were in the process of trying to have come back, trying to book. And unfortunately, we're not able to. So hopefully that lifts when some of the bands stop. But hey, Ryan, can you do me a favor? Can you just maybe chat with her team and make sure she's coming back? I know her phone froze, but just kind of check in with them. That'd be great. Thank you. And again, if you guys do not ask to go live, because as I'm waiting for Sharon to come back, too many pops up. So please don't ask to come back. I mean, we'll block you if you do. I mean, not that we're jerks, but we just, we want to talk to Sharon. That's why we're here. We're here to talk to her, not you. You can ask questions down there. Yeah, Smiley Balloon. Watchmen. You guys watch The Watchmen? You guys read The Watchmen? The best comic probably ever. Probably one of the better TV shows that I've ever seen. Smiley Balloon. Cool. Well, as we're waiting, Sharon talked about Nothing More, said that that's what she's listening to. What are you guys listening to now? What's I mean, obviously Within Temptation. You don't have to say Within Temptation. I know she's definitely eating our ice cream. I'm so jealous. But hopefully, after she's done, which is fine. Let her finish. Yes, My Chemical Romance is a great band. Yes, they're amazing. I was actually lucky enough to see My Chemical Romance play in front of 10 people about 20 times. In the early days, yeah, they've, in their shows at Irving Plaza rule. Okay, she's back. This is great. Happy day. Happy day.
Hi, I'm
We're here.
so sorry,
No,
everyone.
it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I
No,
was
I'm
catching up.
professional. I'm really gonna get a new phone. I promise. I promise. It's
No,
really
it's cool.
again.
Me and the fans were catching up. We were just talking about music.
I've got all the time of the world, so don't worry
Don't
about
worry.
it.
It's totally cool. Actually, what's funny is that these things end after an hour anyway, so we're good.
It's
So
true.
we have
We
another
can
half an
start
hour.
again now.
Yeah, we. No, but what's super cool though is that as you were gone and we were
Yeah.
just like everybody was talking. First off, all the fans that are here are so cool. Everyone's
Oh,
awesome.
really? Oh,
Yeah,
thank
everyone's like
you.
so sweet. Everyone's so nice. But everyone, when I asked the question again, like I asked you, like what was some of the bands that your gateway drug that got you into music?
Yeah.
So many people said Within Temptation. Like
Oh,
like
really?
most, yeah, that's awesome that like that you guys had that profound effect on so many people and got people into music. So look at that. Your fans are
That is the
speaking
best
up.
compliment you can get, of course, as a musician. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And I think, and again, getting back to what we were saying before about how like when you were learning how to be in a band and it's,
Yeah,
hard to like actually figure out like, put in a box and say, this is what I want to do.
yeah,
And you
exactly.
guys never did. And like you said, influence of six people. You never did. I mean, there's something very unique about your band. It's, I mean, can I say danceable metal? Is that fair?
I find that I see it as a compliment, so don't worry.
Cool.
No, I think it's because we've always embraced melodies, I guess, and then it becomes uh, yeah, easier to listen to sometimes. Maybe I don't know. Maybe for metal standards, maybe I don't know. And I think there's more bands like us who also embrace melodies a lot, and I think that's also the reason. Yeah, that you say danceable metal. I can agree with that.
Yeah, and it's also what's cool is that, I remember going to Europe in the 90s for the first time and going to clubs. Because here in America, when anybody think of clubs, they think of dance music. But I
Yeah,
remember going to Europe and I remember specifically going to a couple places in the Netherlands that there were rock clubs that played metal.
yeah,
And I was like,
yeah,
this is
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah,
cool. That's
yeah. They had special days also, like even the Milky Way or Paradiso in Amsterdam.
yeah.
Both had special evenings where they had, well, any band played there. I think in Nirvana was played there also. So it's in the Milky Way. I know they did because I missed that concert. I wasn't allowed because I was too young. For
Oh,
my parents, they didn't want to let me go, and I wasn't bold enough to just go and think like I'm gonna do it anyway. But then I saw the footage later back, and they were trashing the stage, which was a lot of high intensity of everything, of emotions and music and rock and roll going on. I was a bit too young, maybe still. If I look back,
yeah.
I would have loved to have been there, but yeah, I think I might have been compared to the rest of the visitors. I might have been too young. Yeah.
Yeah, I was lucky on my bucket list. Well, on my like
You
things
saw
I've
them
actually
live?
I saw Nirvana. I saw them 3 times. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
no. Oh, amazing.
yeah. I saw
I'm
them. I saw
jealous.
them. Yeah, no, I saw them twice at Roseland and once at some place called the New York Coliseum. But when I saw them, it was it, they played Serve the Servants first, and I actually the only time in my life I've ever fallen down in a crowd
Oh,
because it
really?
was just yeah, people were just so wild. Like you said,
Yeah,
like there was
yeah,
something about that's funny you said that like when they played Amsterdam that they ripped the crowd the club apart because the excitement was so high.
yeah,
Like just
exactly.
everybody was so enthralled by them. Like it just they had this power over the crowd.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And you couldn't stand still. It was just immediate, always moving, always. Yeah,
That sea of people.
yeah.
Well, that needs to how much do you miss live crowds? How tough's it's been when not performing in front of people?
Well, we did the stay-at-home kind of concerts, which is
Yeah,
nice. I think for the time being, it was also nice too. But at the moment, I'm really like, I rather at this moment, maybe there will be some reason why we will do it again. But for me, it's more like I miss looking at the screen. It's nice, but it's not the same, And playing acoustic is also something nice to do during a set, but not completely
sure.
only acoustic, because it doesn't bring the emotion out that we want to give to the crowd, and also to see the crowd is another dimension for us, of course. And yeah, so we miss it a lot, and I'm really happy, even happier by the fact that we were allowed to broadcast a lot of our shows that we did over the years. And so that would help a lot to bring across that thing that we do like to do. But of course, was old shows, of course, but still better than the acoustic thing for us is nice. But yeah, it's not what gets us excited, personally.
Well, and because you guys, like you said before, you like emotion and you like drama and you
Yeah,
like in
yeah,
music, and you guys actually your live shows are that, correct? Like your live shows, it's a production.
yeah, that's true. And that's something we also, because that's something we enjoy doing as well, like putting the music together. We put as much effort in the music as in the live shows, because we think that's can be a part of the show. It's like it will make, to our opinion, things more intense in a way, or more like a one big. I say one big picture. It's like, otherwise you leave out the color or something. So in a way, not like it's that heavy, but for our kind of music, it really helps to do the show visually also as much as the music.
Because it's very much so a rock opera because your voice is so operatic that like it definitely lends it. It's almost like you're like we're talking about Greece before, how like it's an overall thing, like people are
Yeah,
dancing, they're singing. Like when
yeah,
you see you guys, it's an overall sensory overload where it's like
yeah.
not just like straight up like wow, this music, everything is great.
Well, thank you.
Really.
I'm very happy that your experience is like that.
Yeah, no, but I think obviously when you see him like as a promoter, I see 100 shows a year, probably
Yeah, of
actually
course.
200 shows a year, and it's the ones that stick out in your head. It's like the people that you actually watch, and you're like you take every aspect of it very seriously.
Yeah, well, it's also because well, it's a little bit like if I would be in a show of someone else, what would I like to see? And that's what we're trying to put on stage. And I enjoyed always very much the Iron Maiden shows, and a lot of big heroes from the
See
past,
my
and
troop my my
nowadays as well.
my
Yeah,
trooper poster in the back. Yeah,
but Marilyn Manson also does always an amazing show, and
cool. Yeah,
so we saw a lot of cool bands in over the years, and still they are very cool, and they're still putting out an amazing show, and that's something that inspired us to do also in our own way.
that's awesome, and it is cool that you made it available online, like because that's one thing that I remember when I was a kid. Like actually recording someone's performance was frowned upon. You never did that, right? Like I remember like you talked about before, like the bootlegs in Indonesia, but bootlegging shows in the
Yeah,
States was like a bad thing. You can never do that. But now I find like a lot of bands
they do
because
it
you put
themselves.
so yeah, because you put so much effort into it, you want people to
Yeah,
see it.
that's true. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, but those bootlegs are there anyway, so it's and some of them are actually put a lot of effort into it. So I saw a lot of them from Mexico being made there, and they were pretty amazing actually. But I won't promote it too much. But it's don't get me in trouble.
Because
But,
it's flattering. It's flattering to an extent, but you're like, but also, like, yeah,
yeah, it's a double feeling to it, But
yeah. No, I
yeah,
understand.
I know that on the other hand, it's nice to have it for yourself as well sometimes. It's like, okay, oh, it was a really nice show.
No, I get that. I get that. So one of the things also that's super cool about you guys is that like we talked before about 90s influence and you have the coolest collaborations on your songs. And you sang a song with Dave from Soul Asylum. How
Yeah,
cool is that? That's
yeah,
the
it's so
coolest.
cool.
How did that, which is amazing, but again, which talking about not putting you guys in a box because, like, because the people that you have, Mina Caputo, Exhibit, you have all these very vastly different people,
Yeah,
but it's super cool that you guys can do that. And then, but Dave I was like, that is so sick. You
it's
sang
super
with Dave.
cool. Yeah, I thought, well, every collaboration was chosen purely based on the fact that we had a song, and we try to get someone that we love ourselves and that fits the song also, because a lot of people say, well, who would you like to work next with? But that doesn't work like that, because it goes by writing a song and thinking, okay, I would love to make this a duet, and I don't think one of the guys can sing it in the band, so who could be able, whose voice will fit on this? And I'm really happy that they're all they're all people that we admire ourselves. So it's like really happy that they all said yes eventually.
Wow,
Of
that's
course,
cool. So that's how you do it. So you
yeah,
don't write. So you write the song, and then you're like, this is who, and
yeah,
then you go ahead and get them.
yeah, exactly.
That's
And
really awesome.
yeah, and then you hope they will say yes, of course. Same was with Tarja, that we wrote a song. It's like, okay, this would really fit with Tarja's voice, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
she has an amazing operatic voice. And with everyone, with Mina Caputo, the same thing. Always been a big fan of Live Agony.
Oh
And,
yeah, that voice,
it was
classic New York voice. Yeah.
Yeah. And also always been a very much type negative fan. Unfortunately, we were too late. But would have loved to been working with Peter Steele as well. Yeah.
Yeah, his voice, another classic. Those two
Totally.
really deep New York voices.
Yeah. I met Peter once, only once, unfortunately. But we were just having our first festival ever, and it was our 5th show ever that we did.
Wow.
And yeah, it was amazing. We played in the tent on Dynamo, which at the time was the biggest metal festival in Europe.
Yeah,
and
huge.
we were of course allowed backstage, but he had a special backstage from Roadrunner, because they had the backstage in the backstage. But there was an opening, a void between 2 fences, and I was just passing by, and in a glimpse I saw his face, like, hey, this is Peter Steele. And without telling the boys, I just went in. It's like they were walking on, and I didn't say anything, because I was like, okay, there he is, I'm going in. And I just say, hi, can I sit with you? Can I talk to you for a little while?
Oh,
And
how cool is that?
Fangirling all over the place, of course. But yeah, it was, and he was so nice to me, because I was early 20s, and I was just, it was my 5th gig ever. And it was immediately on a big festival for 10,000 people, because the tent was smaller than the main stage, and he was going to play the next day on main stage. And he was amazing, telling me about how much he was inspired by the Beatles, and how he didn't told they got him a hamburger from McDonald's at the time, and they did. I think he said he didn't want the mayo, because the mayonnaise is different in Europe than in America. So
right, that makes sense.
And he still did it, and he was talking about that. So we had a conversation about music and all kinds of stuff, and he was so relaxed and so sweet, really sweet. And so it was real fun, and I'm so happy that I at least once got the chance to meet him. So
that's amazing to have that opportunity. And I would imagine now you probably find yourself in a similar position when you're at a festival. I would imagine you probably have similar conversations, like people that put you in the same esteem that you had Pete in all those years ago.
Yeah, and I think you learn from how you go about these situations. Is like the fact that he was so nice to us. Also, after so many years, like you say, you remind yourself every time when there's a band and they're just starting, and you're really like, oh, can I talk to you for a minute? Can you give me some advice or whatever? You take the time, because it's just, it reminds you also from how you started, and also the great people you have met and talked to in the meantime. And yeah, so that's, of course, when you take the time for it. Yeah.
And festivals is like a place for that, because especially in we haven't caught on yet. I mean, we're getting there with the festivals in the US, but you guys in Europe have like every day is a festival.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like but that's where I feel like I remember, growing up as a promoter and stuff, like that's where you actually and I've talked to a lot of bands about this, especially in the metal world, that so many of the relationships that people have made are through these like big backstage areas at festivals.
Yeah. That's also, how I got to meet most people, indeed. And it's nice to, for us, the festivals are the cherry on the cake, because your own shows are nice, but when you're on a festival, you get to enjoy also a lot of other music, and discover new bands who just started and who are very inventive and have new styles, and will be inspiring to us again also. And so it's always nice to play on a festival. It's for us the best, actually.
And that is cool.
I like it sometimes even better than your own shows, because yeah, it's really nice to do your own shows. You can play longer and everything, but it is nice to get to see something else as well than your own, and hear something else in your own music sometimes.
And also too, the exposure of your music to people that might not know about you guys, or might not know.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
That's really important.
Yeah, totally. You get out there, and like we said, there's always a chance to win some hearts when you play for the first time somewhere, and hopefully there will be somebody listening that you think, okay, you know, that you can get interested in your music, of course.
Do you have any that stick out in your mind as like or maybe even early on like memories of festivals where you're like, wow, we're playing to a lot of people, this is amazing?
Well, you know, the first, like this festival was the first one we did, and on Dynamo, and that was also special because I didn't even know what monitors were, or the monitor guy was doing actually.
Really?
So
Wow.
we went on stage, and I had my earplugs on, the ones that you get at the metal store, you know, like a hardware store, and because it didn't have, yeah, of course, the good ones yet, and didn't have money for that. And I was like, you know, it was the worst show we ever did. And after that, I learned very fast what a monitor guy is supposed to do, because we only had money for, you know, a front of the house.
Right.
And the monitor guy was trying his best to make something out of it for us, to get us some sound and everything. But I was just going on steroids, you know, like mentally, more like, you know, on the high energy of yourself, that you adrenaline. So it's like I was just all over the place and singing, and but it was, when I look back on it, my mom was filming it because it was such a special event for us, you know, finally on Dynamo, the big Dynamo, and we never knew if it would be just a one-off, or maybe we would get to play again on Dynamo or not any other festival. So she filmed it, and looking back was like, oh, terrible. But you know, it was very much the audience was really blown away by it somehow. I don't know, because after that we got a lot of offers, and all shows that we did in venues were sold out after that. But when I look back at it, and the sound, everything was horrible. It was really, really, really a bad show. But
that's really I love that
enthusiasm. So that's
yeah. I'm sure the monitor guy loved you guys. You're like, wait, I don't know what a monitor guy is. I'm sure he was like, oh, great.
It's like, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, like, because you know they always can tell the poor. You know, like when the newer bands come on stage, it's like, you know, you try to be patient, but you're like, all right, guys, come on, like, all right, yeah, please, like, okay, take the cymbals off when you take the kit off the stage. Like, don't take the cymbals off on the stage.
I know they felt that way. I'm 100% sure of it. Yeah. Also, when we did the first tour, we really had to get the hang of it eventually. But we were touring with a bigger band from the Netherlands, from the same label, and it was the first European tour we were doing. And yeah, in the beginning, they really hated us because we were so new to everything. It was like we were so green in every way. Like,
right.
We had to learn everything, but we were very, like I said, we were very enthusiastic, and I think that
yeah.
was the reason that people eventually started, well, you know, we'll give them a break.
But and also, I think we've all been in that position. I think we try to remind, and I think it's so important what you said about how you remember being the person asking Pete questions, and now how people do that to you, because we were everybody at that point, you know, like any stage, any stage where, you know, the Beatles were a local band once, you know, like it's important to keep that in mind, that like everybody had their beginning stages and they weren't always at where they're at right now, and you got to work to get there.
Yeah, totally. And everybody has beautiful stories about it also, and I think the more help you get, the more maybe the more relaxed you will be also towards other people. I think it's also like, I think any job you're in, you know, is everybody had to stop at the bottom and have to work. Yeah. So.
And that's cool. And you can see, you know, I'm looking at the comments, and everyone's loving that story. Like everyone, like all your fans just think it's so cool that, like, you know, the old school Within Temptation stories, like, because everybody loves to hear that, like where we came from, what happened, and, you know, like how it started.
Yeah, especially because people have no idea what it is like for a band starting, and I guess, and also what it takes to hold on, maybe also a bit, because it's for us anyway. For us, when we started in the Netherlands, there wasn't much music history. yeah, you should know. Like, not, it's not like America where you have billions of artists. No, billions is exaggerated, but so many artists doing really well. You know, you had Metallica, you have Metallica, you had Nirvana,
Oh,
you had, you can name it. You had Dolly Parton, you had so many. You had, oh my God, I can Bruce Springsteen, all kinds of amazing artists and bands. And in our little country, we had Shocking Blue, but that was the only one who got out of the Netherlands, who got success outside of the Netherlands. We had the Golden Earring, but they had got homesick, so they didn't pursue their dream eventually abroad. But they were
Radar Love Golden Earring. That's
yeah,
on. Oh,
very
that song.
good. Yeah, amazing band.
White Lion's like one of my favorite bands ever. And White Lion covered Radar Love, so that's why I know it. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's an amazing band, and they are world famous here in the Netherlands and Belgium, but maybe some other European countries that I maybe not know of. But it's so we didn't have much history, and for that reason, a lot of people around us said, like, okay, you know, don't quit your day job because
Sure.
you're in metal or rock, and it's very much a niche, and so you better don't, you know, don't dream too big, because, you know, the chances that you will make it eventually, that you can live from this, is very small and very
Sure.
so. But and we did, because every one of us, anyway, most of us had a bachelor degree in something. I had in fashion management.
So cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and Robert did human resource management. Our first guitar player, he was like this whiz kid. He'd made he built websites and stuff like that. So everybody did something, like, you had a second plan. If this wouldn't work out, our passion, our dream, then we could always fall back on something else. And that's a big I think still nowadays, and even now, that's the biggest and best advice I ever got. Although it was very demotivating to hear that constantly from people. Yeah. But on the other hand, it's good to have a plan B, because, you know, sometimes it just doesn't work out. Oh, how great you are, it doesn't matter, you know. And sometimes not the right moment in time.
Or a pandemic happens and you can't
Corona
work.
happens and you're So, and then you're in a big problem.
Yeah, no, for real. I say it all the time. Like, when there are interns or people that interview with us, I always say, like, as funny as it sounds, always have a side hustle, right? Or have something else that you can rely on. And also too, what's super cool is that I have to say is that when you actually, like, when you're the thing on the side, like you said, with fashion, that also comes into play with what you're doing now. Like, with you have an understanding of wardrobes and costuming that you wouldn't have had if you didn't do that.
No, totally. And you learn a lot, because I've only worked for a company actually for 2 years. And then our music started to really start in a good way, that we could, you know, try at least to see how far we could take this. And that was in 2002, and we started in 1996.
Wow.
So it took a while also to get where we got, but we enjoyed it so much that we did it besides our day jobs. So during the week I was at the office, and at the weekend it was mine. I was ready to shine.
But you know what? It's cool, because I feel like, you know, again, we've been doing a lot of these conversations, and a lot of people have told us, which I find really interesting, is that even though you are determined for your band to eventually make it, you don't put all your eggs in that basket. You know, it's like, it seems like the bands that just are like, we have to be big, we have to do this, don't make it as much as the bands that realize that other things in life could happen. And when you focus on your other life and you still pour your passion into the band, but you're not, you know, banking on being big, you're just making music. No. It seems like those bands tend to be more successful.
I think I don't know so, but from my own experience, I think the chances are a little bit, maybe you're right, because I think you focus more on the music, and then and not like writing the best song, the perfect song that could fit on the radio or anything else, or in a scene. I think you have to make a song that you believe in as a person. That's the best thing you can make, I think. And go from that, and maybe still it won't work out, and that's not important, but then you still can stand by it as a person and enjoy what you've written that you believe so much in. So
that's awesome. And also too, you said real quick, growing up and you know the Netherlands, talking about the kind of music that was there. As a kid, did you? And I have to ask this: as a kid, did you watch Eurovision? Did you like watch the contest?
When I was a teenager, I did sometimes, but you know, I couldn't grasp it at the time, and I still find it sometimes quite difficult to grasp because it's such a different way of making music
Yeah.
and seeing music. And of course, it has changed now because you see more songs coming out that are. Well, you know, what happened in the Netherlands, that will explain a little bit why I had problems looking at it and enjoying it. It was because there was a team in the Netherlands that would write a song and artists had to sing one of the
Right.
songs of the other people had written for them. So it was never based on passion from the artist itself. And it came from a different world for me. And nowadays you can see that there are artists that write their own stuff and are allowed to do their own thing more or less, also because they say otherwise I won't participate. And like Anouk, who did this from the Netherlands, she's an amazing singer and she's well respected by metal and rock and anybody who likes pop, all kinds of music. So it's she participated where nobody wanted to. So she changed the image a little bit of how people looked at it. And still, I feel that we as a band don't have anything to do with Eurovision because of the fact that, you know, the only reason that they asked us in the first place is the fact that we are so known in a lot of countries who are participating. They hope they will vote for us because we have fans in all countries, and then eventually we would eventually win. But I think I don't want to be used for that because I work too hard. I work so hard to, you know, to do my own thing, and then I would be pushed in a corset in somehow again, and it doesn't feel right. So when I had my solo project, I just was thinking maybe, you know, is it something that I would fit my music, and I eventually came back to the same conclusion. It doesn't work for with Invitation, doesn't work for my Indigo, which is my solo project either. Although it's very different music, but it wouldn't feel right because it doesn't. It's a different way of making music, and I respect what they do. And it's a special show for a different kind of music, a different
and it's
world.
the reason why I ask. The reason why I ask is because obviously, you know, there's that Will Ferrell movie that's on Netflix, Eurovision.
I love it. Oh, it was the best I've seen in a long time.
Ding Dong. How good is Yaya? But I ask because a lot of people in the U.S. don't know what it is. So like, and I'm sure there's people here that are watching that probably figured out what it was from that. And like, and I did a deep dive because I kind of like.
You think that it's not even a parody because it's very close to how it's like in real time. So that's why I enjoyed the movie also very much. It was amazing.
And that's how it is, right?
Perfect. Yeah, it sums it up. All of it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we don't know what that's like. I mean, obviously in the US we have a million, you know, Americans Got Talent, The Voice, all that stuff. But we don't have, you know, so and that's a similar thing where people aren't necessarily writing their own song. And now I think they are, but for the most part, people covering stuff. By the way, okay, so the timer just came up that there's a minute and 50 seconds left.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say one more thing.
Yes.
And that is there's going to be an American version of the Eurovision. Actually, I read it on the news.
Really?
A few days ago. I don't know if you know, but
I didn't know. That's huge.
Yeah, so I don't know what kind of way they're going to make it or what kind of concept it's going to be, but yeah, there's going to be an American version of it.
Oh my gosh! Well, that's amazing. Well, before that, I hope, you know, all this Corona stuff changes and you guys can get back here and play some shows. I know we were actually holding some dates, I think, for this year, but I hope like at some point you guys can come back here and play because this is terrible. This is terrible. The situation that bands just can't come here.
I totally agree, and we really miss touring. And like I said, you know, it's the worst thing is that you can't do what you love, and that's the so. But yeah. I can imagine for you, it's just the same, you know. So
it's tough. Yeah, it's been tough. It's tough, but it has allowed me to do this and talk to you, and this has been super cool.
Likewise, this was a really nice chance to get in contact with each other again. And
yeah, this is great. Of course, thank you so much for having us, and for being here, and we'll chat with you soon. And I hope enjoy all the ice cream. And we'll chat.
Yeah, I will. I have to because I had to.
Yeah, go
anyway.
get. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon. Okay, thanks so much. All right, see you. Bye-bye. Okay, unfortunately, these things, I still see the timer. I have 23 seconds left. There's a million things I wanted to ask, but unfortunately, we didn't get to them because this timer and technical. But thank you so much. Oh my gosh, how awesome was she? That was great. This was great. You guys are awesome. Everyone's great. We have a lot of interviews coming up this week. The Melvins, August Burns Red. So yeah, Taria next week.